There's a gleam, man. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
Why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating and we were talking to Nara.
So can I ask you a question?
What do you have? Go ahead. No, that's enough. Go ahead.
Can I ask? But that wasn't my question.
The problem is you don't write the truth. So, as far as I'm concerned, I want to go to the next
Can I
person.
ask you a question about?
No, not CNN, please. Go ahead.
The White House has not responded to these
I
allegations.
told you. CNN is fake news. Don't talk to me. Go ahead, please.
But he says he was retaliated against, and that's why he was removed from his job. Do you have a response to that?
Okay, next question.
Mr. President, I have.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the mail?
Sure. Yes, I'm sure, bitch. I got the head of the CIA right here. He'll tell you.
What about people who say you're only interested in the Middle East for oil?
What? Huh? Oil? Who said something about oil, bitch? You cooking? Oh. Guess that means you need to shut the up. That's what I would do if I had no army. I would shut up. Shut the up. That's right. What did I say? I'm not gloating, but what did I say? Did I not say that we were winning? We rocked them Bama's. We rocked them. Nigga, you see me coming on that plane? Shh. Damn, I know I shouldn't have called on this nigga. I shouldn't have called on you because you always trying to distract motherfucker. Fine, I'll answer your stupid ass question. Stop worrying about that. I got that under control.
Attention, please. My name is Uncle Ruckus, no relation. I want to sing y'all a brand new song I just wrote called Don't Trust Them New Niggas Over There. Sing along if you know the words. Don't trust them new niggas over there, leaving they nigga essence in the air. Them happy, nappy-head niggas with the fingers on the trigger. Don't trust them new niggas over there. Don't trust them big nostrils over yonder. They suck up so much air it'll make you wonder. Don't trust them new niggas with their spotty little nigga figures. Don't trust them new niggas over there.
I think the N-word is okay as long as they say it.
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Text. I know I need to find an intro to stick with. I keep changing them up because I just try to do something different. At any rate, all right, so I'm not going to be here long. Just like yesterday, I've got VA appointments for the old man, and I got to be up early in the morning. So we're going to make this real quick, dealing with Trump, where he hosts the Italian Prime Minister, what's her name, Giorgia Meloni, in the Oval Office. So as you can see, they had it at an hour 12:40, which was a waste of time, but it doesn't look too long. So let's get into this, see what's going on here. I know I'd have started earlier, but I was talking to my cousin. We were talking about the tariffs and how it affects her business and everything. It was a very interesting discussion. But let's go on. Let's see what we got here. What are they talking about?
Thank you very much, everybody. And I've been briefed on the Florida State University, Tallahassee active shooting. I guess it's an active shooting. Fully briefed as to where we are right now. It's a shame. It's a horrible thing. Horrible that things like this take place. And we'll have more to say about it later. In the meantime, it's an honor to have the Prime Minister of Italy with us, Prime Minister Meloni, who's doing a fantastic job. I would say that she has taken Europe by storm and highly respected. Everybody loves her and respects her, and I can't say that about many people. And she's become a friend, and we really have a great relationship between Italy and ourselves. And we talked about trade. We talked about many, many things during our luncheon, and she'll be saying a few words, but she's a very special person, and it's nice to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you for this occasion, which is a... You know, today is...
Okay, I thought that was me.
April 17 marks the anniversary of the agreement that allowed Cristoforo Colombo to make his trip. And I say to remember how ancient are our ties, but also to remind that we both share another fight, which is the fight against the woke and ADI ideology that would like to erase our history. And as I know that we share lots of things on tackling illegal migration, on fighting against synthetic
I hear what she's saying, but let me see if I can find a better angle. Let me see if the White House has a better angle. Keep in mind, I'm watching this live just as you are.
Many bilateral topics and things that we can do together about defense, about economic, about economy, about space, about energy. Italy will have to increase its LNG imports, and also nuclear that we are trying to develop. I think there can be ways to work together, and the Italian enterprises will invest as they've been doing for many years. As you know, in the next years, I think around 10 billions. That shows how interconnected our economies are. And that's very important, Mr. President. It's not only about Italy.
All right, hold on. I think I get a better camera angle. Oh, no. Okay. All right. That is the camera angle. They eventually switch it. All right.
It's about the entire Europe. The exchange between us is a very big one. Investments, trade. It's a topic that we are discussing in this way. But at the end of the day, look, somebody calls me, I was saying it before, such a Western nationalism. I don't know if that's the right word, but I know that when I speak about West, mainly I don't speak about a geographical space. I speak about the civilization. And I want to make...
This isn't me. This was the live broadcast. This is how they brought it across.
Try to sit.
Okay. Because you see the seconds are ticking away.
Having accepted an
this is how it was broadcast.
Visit to Rome in the near future.
Don't yell at me. I had nothing to do with it.
Also with Europe, the goal for me is to make the West great again. Okay? And I think we can do it together.
We can.
And we will keep on work on that.
Well, no.
I'm going to close. I want to say only, I'm proud of sitting here.
I got my feet in the bath right now.
Very good. It's a very good situation despite the difficulties. A stable country, reliable country. 1 million more jobs in the last 2 years and a half.
Great.
Inflation is going down. So you forgive me if I promote a bit my country, but you're a businessman and you understand me. So migration flows going down 60%.
Again, this is not me. What's up, Carlton? This is not me. That's them.
With the independent freedom of Ukraine, together we can build a just and lasting peace. We support your efforts, Don.
Good. Thank you very much. And I think we're doing well.
Only person missing is Jibba.
Get it done, and we'll see if we can. We want to save. On average, think of it, every week, 2,500 people are being killed, mostly soldiers, Russian, Ukrainian soldiers. And if we can save those lives, that'll be a very good thing. And so we'll see what we can do. I think we're getting close, but we'll let you know very soon. And you've been very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, Mr. President,
How much longer does Vladimir Putin have to respond to your ceasefire proposal before you put secondary tariffs or sanctions on Russia?
We'll see what that will be. We're going to be hearing from them this week, very shortly, actually, and we'll see. But we want it to stop. We want the death and the killing to stop.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to. Do you believe you have? Do you believe you have the power to remove him? And are you trying to do that?
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
Will you remove him? Are you trying to remove him? Are you trying to remove him, Mr. President?
Do you have a question?
Mr. President, Judge Boothberg, in a case against your administration, said the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial orders. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, you're going to have to speak to the lawyers. We have great lawyers. I can tell you this, we're doing a fantastic job of getting criminals out of this country who Biden allowed into the country. Hundreds of thousands of criminals, murderers and drug dealers. And I was...
All right, so I'm not up on the one case that they were talking about earlier, but the whole Boasberg thing, look, dude, you were out of line. You overstepped. It's not even Texas, isn't even your jurisdiction. So therefore, your ruling was garbage. Your ruling was trash. It's like me trying to tell your kid what to do in your house. And please, not going to fly. So him trying to turn around and say, oh, well, I think I have proof that the plane took off after I issued my statement. Like, dude, sorry. No, thank you. Null and void. Doesn't matter. Who cares what you think?
Elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of
yeah, that wall is
one
full.
of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed.
Damn, what is y'all doing in the White House?
Get them out. And I got a lot of votes, record-setting numbers of votes. As you know, we won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And
Jerome Powell, let me see what's going on with Jerome Powell while this plays.
But you have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them.
No, that's the old one.
From France and UK of a peace mission in Ukraine with soldiers, and do you think that Italy should take part in it?
I think Italy will have to make that determination, but peace missions are always good with me. I'm okay with peace missions. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you discussed what areas of cooperation have you discussed?
All right, hold on. All right, so says here, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, has been at the center of some heated debates recently. One major controversy involves his clashes with former President Donald Trump, well, current. Trump has criticized Powell for not cutting interest rates. Oh, okay, I heard something about that. All right, for not cutting interest rates quickly enough, and even hinted at wanting to remove him from his position. However, Powell has firmly stated that the Federal Reserve's independence is protected by law, and he has no plans to step down. Well, you know, that's what I see. You probably have you removed. Another point of contention is Powell's handling of economic policies, particularly in the face of inflation and tariffs. His recent remarks about the economic challenges posed by tariffs have sparked discussions about the Fed's role in navigating these issues. Okay. All right. So that's what's going on with him. All right. So they arguing about the interest rates. All right. Let me back it up. So let's check the question.
Hundreds of thousands of criminals, murderers and drug dealers. And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of things. But one of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed.
Again, that's not me.
And I got a lot of votes, record-setting numbers of votes. As you know, we won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And that's what the public wanted, and that's what I'm doing. But you have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them.
Mr. President, do you think of the proposal from France and UK of a peace mission in Ukraine with soldiers? And do you think that Italy should take part into it?
I think Italy will have to make that determination, but peace missions are always good with me. I'm okay with peace missions. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you discussed what areas of cooperation have you discussed with the Prime Minister vis-a-vis Italy and the United States and Europe and the United States? And on China?
We discussed it very briefly. No, we're doing very well with negotiations, I think, with all countries.
Do you have a timing?
And Scott could tell you a little bit, but we are doing very well. We have a lot of countries that want to make a deal. Frankly, they want to make deals more than I do. Go ahead, Scott, would you say something?
Yeah, we've got a process in place. We're working on the big 15 economies first. We had a fantastic meeting with Japan yesterday. I believe there have been calls with the EU already. And then we have South Korea coming in next week. And I believe India is also talking, that's moving very quickly.
Mr. President.
On Ukraine, sir, President Zelensky has said he has evidence that China.
All right, hold on. So to answer your question, so it says legally it's complicated. The Federal Reserve Chair, like Powell, can only be removed for cause, which typically means misconduct or incapacity, not policy disagreements. This independence is protected by the Federal Reserve Act and supported by a Supreme Court precedent from 1935. Trump has expressed frustration with Powell and hinted at firing him, but no Fed chair has ever been removed by a president. If Trump attempted it, it would likely lead to a legal battle. Powell stated himself that he wouldn't resign if asked. So, I think what it is, Trump is just mad at him, but, because he wants him to bring the money down. He wants him to bring the interest rates down, but, Powell can only do what's legal. All right, he can only do what's legally allowed. So, it is what it is. You say Vance is taking acting lessons from Joey from Friends. It just looked like you smell something weird.
But we are doing very well. We have a lot of
he do got that face.
Make a deal. Frankly, they want to make deals more than I do. Go ahead, Scott. Would you say something?
Yeah, we've got a process in place. We're working on the big 15 economies first. We had a fantastic meeting with Japan yesterday. I believe there have been calls with the EU already. And then we have South Korea coming in next week. And I believe India is also talking, that's moving very quickly.
Yeah, this is what I was talking to my cousin about an hour ago. We were talking about the tariffs. I was telling her all these countries are coming in to negotiate. It's just a matter of what they negotiate on. We've went over this 1,000 times over the past month, or at least this month. So, we'll just see. We'll see how, when they shake the trees, what type of fruit falls from the trees.
Mr. President. On Ukraine, sir, President Zelensky has said he has evidence that China is supplying weaponry or ammunition to Russia. Do you have any evidence along those lines? And also, he said we could see a minerals deal signed this week. Is that?
Well, we have a minerals deal, which I guess is going to be signed on Thursday, Scott, next Thursday, soon. And I assume they're going to live up to the deal, so we'll see. But we have a deal on that. No, I have no comment on that. I have no idea. That's his statement, not mine.
Mr. President, you waved off an Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. Can you comment on that? Is that accurate?
And they say the attack is what?
That you waved off an Israeli plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities recently.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option.
Personally, I think Iran needs new leadership.
I think it would be very bad for Iran.
They need to get the Muslim extremists out of their government.
I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well. I know the Iranian people, they're incredible people, always have been very.
Again, that's not me. The ticker is ticking. The ticker is ticking. You see the ticker ticking. This is their live broadcast. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I am not the problem. See, I am not the problem. I think this is when they decided, let's see if they decide to switch the camera angle. Because remember, I was looking for a different video to see if I had better camera angle so we could see the Italian prime minister. But it looked the same as the one that I was showing. So, yeah, okay, all right. They switched to a different camera. They're about to switch to a different camera in a second. There we go. All right. I wonder what we missed. Probably a lot of filibuster from Trump.
But no, I'd do that, I think, very easily, or they can do it the other way. Do that, I think, very easily, or they can do it the other way, and the other way is not.
I'm not sure. Let me see.
It's going to be really bad for them. Well, Jensen's an amazing guy. He's become a friend of mine, and I don't know, he's a person that's very proud of our country. He loves our country.
Yeah, they are overrun. Yeah, they're overrun with Nigerians.
Will you take steps to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States in front of a judge?
Well, I'm not involved in it. I'm going to respond by saying you'll have to speak to the lawyers, the DOJ. I've heard many things about him, and we'll have to find out what the truth is. But I will say this, you know, we were inundated by millions of people, many millions of people during the Biden administration. They say 21 million. And a big percentage of those are criminals, serious criminals. I'm not saying just criminal because they came into the border illegally. I'm saying they're criminals at the highest level, murderers. Many of those people murdered more than one person, and they're on the loose. And I was elected to get rid of those criminals, to get them out of our country, or to put them away, but to get them out of our country. And I don't see how judges can take that authority away from a president. We've done an amazing job. Tom Holman, Kristi Noem, we have done an amazing job. Nobody can believe the job we've done. Far greater than what I said. I mean, I got elected on that, but we've done much better. We have right now 99% border. It's a 99%. Nobody thought that would even be, but nobody's coming through our border practically. 2 weeks ago, we had 9 people come through, all for medical reasons. We allowed them. We brought them through because one had a heart attack, one had something else, all for medical reasons. We have a great border. We had a great border 4 years ago, but we have a border now that's even tighter, and we did that in a matter of weeks. And no, we have to. We need to get murderers and drug dealers and people that were in jail for horrible. You know, they released jails, Giorgia, from all over the world, and released them, not just South America, all over the world, the Congo and Africa. Many, many people come from the Congo. I don't know what that is, but they came from the Congo. And all over the world they came in, opened their jails. Venezuela, practically all of their prisoners released into our country. We took them because we had an incompetent administration called the Biden administration.
He always taking shots.
To think what they've done to our country. And I was elected to straighten that out, and I'm doing that. But we have activist judges that don't want murderers to be sent out of our country. They don't want killers and drug dealers and drug lords and people from mental institutions. They want them to stay in our country, I guess. I don't know.
His comb over has a comb over.
That's the liberal way, or as they call it nowadays, the progressive way. But I don't think it's the way that our country believes, and that's why I won in a landslide.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I said this on Charles's earlier today. I'm going to say it again. The more the Democrats keep pushing this guy's face out in the news and talking about him and fake acting like you're going to go down to get him out of prison and everything, the more you put that man's life in danger behind bars. Because when the gang members down there, when they find out that he used to be one of them or whatnot, and that he betrayed the gang and everything, however it goes, if they just feel that way. Because understand, you're talking about a lot of uneducated Hispanics in that prison. All right, they're just going to go up off of what they hear, and then their emotions are going to take over. They're going to mess around there. They're going to get that guy unalive. The Democrats are going to get him unalive, and then they're going to blame Trump. Never mind that they out here breaking their neck 24/7, whatnot, breaking their neck to put him all over the news to make him a national story when he shouldn't be. They're going to get him killed. Watch. They're going to get him murked.
You also said that you're in no rush. Americans are seeing prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long
Charles' channel?
do they expect that pain to last?
Charles Faulkner Jr.
They've already seen it get much better, because if you were truthful, which you're not, I know you very well.
I'll post a link.
You have gasoline.
Wow. Hold on. Wait. I missed something. What did he say?
Slide.
You did say that you are confident these deals will be done, but you also said that you're in no rush. Americans are seeing prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long can they expect that pain to last?
So they've already seen it get much better, because if you were truthful, which you're not, I know you very well. You have gasoline that hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. You have gasoline's way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries are substantially down. The price of eggs. When I came in, they hit me with eggs. I just got there. I was here for 1 week, and they started screaming at me, eggs have gone through the roof. I said, I just got here. I was there for 7 days, and I hear that
that's Charles' channel.
Gone through the roof before I got there. And they were screaming at me, the press, the fake news, like you're fake. And the fake news is screaming at me like about eggs. I said, I've only been here. This is my 7th day. And they were right. They went up 87%, and you couldn't get them. They said, you won't have eggs for Easter, which is coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. You won't have eggs for Easter. And we did an unbelievable job. And now eggs are all over the place, and the price went down 92%. And our Commissioner of Agriculture, Brooke.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. Good day.
Fantastic job. They've really done a fantastic job. So prices haven't gone up. The only thing that's gone up actually is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman that is playing politics. Somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually. But he's playing politics. Interest rates should be down now. They should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve, because they're not very smart people.
I think what it is, they're holding the interest rates as they are right now, not really lowering them, because they want to see how these tariffs shake out. So before they lower them, at what Trump feels where they should be, I think the Federal Reserve is waiting to see how these tariffs play out before they make a move when it comes to the interest rates. So, and that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Go ahead, let it sit where it sits. It's okay. I'm not feeling the pinch. Are you feeling the pinch? Let it play out. Let's see how it goes. Relax. Relax. Yeah, his clapbacks are epic.
Go ahead, please.
Do you regret nominating him, Jerome Powell?
What you say, Chick?
Look, in the first 4 years, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Stock market went up 88 points. I think he's terrible, but I can't complain because we had the most successful administration economically in the history of our country. I think we're going to do even better this time because you will see that the numbers that we're taking in are astronomical. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money with the tariffs. We were treated very unfairly on trade, and countries are having a hard time getting used to the fact that they can't do that to us anymore because we have a real president. We have a president that understands what it's all about. We had presidents that in some cases were smart, but they didn't understand business, or they didn't like business, or, you know, it wasn't like a priority. And then you had like the last administration, the only thing they were good at was cheating in elections. That's about all they could do. They couldn't do anything. They were useless. They were incompetent. Worst administration in the history of our country. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was. So
Joe
I think
Biden
you're
calling
gonna
us
see some
colors.
fantastic numbers when this all happens. It's happening now. I mean, everybody wants to make a deal, and if they don't want to make a deal, we'll make the deal for them, because that's what's going to happen. We're just saying this is what it is. But we want to listen to everybody, and I think I can say for Scott and the other people that are working on it that we're listening, and we're going to be very fair to people. But you know, we're the one that really sets the deal, and that's what we'll be doing. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Question to our Prime Minister.
Oh, you have a great Prime Minister. You're so lucky. Yes.
Italiano.
Yes, that's.
Okay.
I'm not sure that what.
Presidente Meloni, volevo sapere cosa pensava del fatto che il Presidente Trump ha considerato responsabile Zelensky della guerra in Ucraina, e poi se avete parlato delle spese militari e qual è il limite massimo a cui ha detto che può arrivare l'Italia nelle percentuali delle spese militari.
Abbiamo parlato dei limiti massimi a cui può arrivare l'Italia, abbiamo parlato del fatto che l'Italia sta...
You're in America now. Speak Spanish. They still having problems. I'm looking at this tick.
Abbiamo parlato di quanto va aumentata questa percentuale, anche se siamo ovviamente consapevoli che insomma, il tema della difesa sia un tema particolarmente importante di questo tempo. Per quello che riguarda la guerra in Ucraina, lei sa come la penso che ci sia chiaramente ci sia stata un'invasione e che l'invasore da quel punto di vista fosse Putin e la Russia, ma non è questo che oggi quello che rivela il fatto che insieme vogliamo
I have no control over this. They're definitely slowing down the show with their horrible coverage. They must have been using Wi-Fi cameras.
No, I mean, it sounded great. It was beautifully presented. Maybe I could hear what you said. Go ahead.
It was about asking.
Guys, have some respect, please.
Thank you. No, wait. I want to hear what you said. Go ahead.
Prime Minister Meloni was asked what she thinks about the fact that President Trump holds Zelensky responsible for the war in Ukraine, and Prime Minister Meloni answered, "Well, we have." And also if you talked about the military spending, how in the raising of the military spending, and the first thing Prime Minister Meloni said is that no, actually we didn't talk about the raise in military spending. Of course, Italy will keep its commitments with 2%, and then we will see, because we are absolutely aware of the fact that it is very important to
well, I will do
defense
that.
Is very
wait. I will do that. Important. They've been asking if we decided another percentage about this defense spendings, and I said yes, NATO, and I said that Italy is reaching the 2% as it was already decided. We didn't speak about specific other percentage, but we are aware of the fact that defense is important for the future, and we see what also the work that we are trying to do at the European level.
And I don't hold Zelensky responsible, but I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact that that war started. That was a war that would have never started if I were president. You'd have millions of people living right now that are dead. You'd have cities that would be open and thriving, and they'd have their beautiful turrets. Those turrets are the most beautiful in the world. But they're not with us any longer. They're smashed to smithereens, laying on the ground in a million pieces, getting hit by rockets, bombs, and bullets. And so I'm not happy with him. and I'm not happy with anybody involved. I think it's a war. I know it's a war. It didn't happen for 4 years. It was never close to happening. It was never even a thought. And I spoke to President Putin about it a lot. It was the apple of his eye, but there's no way he would have ever gone in if I were president. Now I'm trying to get him to stop because, as you know, Russia's a lot bigger. It's a bigger military force. And if you're smart, you don't go involved and get involved in wars that you can blame the man that was sitting in this seat. Biden, he didn't know what the hell was going on, but I can guarantee you that, and everybody agrees to it, if I were president, that war would have never taken place. I'm not blaming him, but what I am saying is that I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job, okay? I'm not a big fan. I really am. I'm not a big fan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Presidente Meloni, avete discusso di Cina, della possibilità che l'Europa ponga dei dazi, diciamo, sulla Cina. Mr. President, are you sure about the definition of the parasite of European? Would you say again that European are parasites?
It's never said.
Would you say again that
European.
Have you said that Europeans are parasites?
Yeah.
Have you said it?
No, I haven't said. I don't know
You
what.
didn't say it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. No, wait. Next. Go.
Thank you. Prime Minister Meloni just said we want to make Europe great again, and we want to do it together in the
Sure.
West, yeah.
Did you? I guess that's what she said, Mr. Prime Minister. How are you going to do that? And are you looking to do it to counter China, who is really trying to gather influence against the United States with the help of an instrument?
I hope that Europe is going to be great again. Europe is going through a lot of problems, and a lot of it's having to do with immigration. And I'm not a big fan of Europe and what they've done with immigration at all. And I think they got to get smart because Europe is being very badly hurt by what they've done with immigration. Now, I'll say this, that the Prime Minister has taken a very tough stand on immigration. And I commented to her before. I said, I wish more people would be like you having to do with that subject, but they're not. Europe is very important to me. Europe is very important to the world. I want Europe to do very well. I think they have to get a lot smarter on immigration.
But we are beginning doing it. You've all seen now the policies of the European Union in the last, let's say, 2.5 years have been changing. Okay, at the beginning we were talking only about how we were redistributing illegal migrants coming to Italy. Now we are talking mainly about how to stop illegal migration, work with the countries of origin and transit, and to return people. The European Commission just did the new rules about repatriations and things like that. So
they decided to pull the United States.
Thanks also to the example that Italy brought in lowering the rates of illegal migration. So we are working now together. So I'm optimistic on that.
Good. I hope so.
I mean, those are some barren lands up there.
Go ahead.
President Trump, if you want to see the Google home,
The Google what?
the Google home,
What about
Google
it?
business,
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Oh, well, we didn't discuss about Starlink. We've been discussing about defense space, where we will work together also in the Mars missions. So there are big things to do together, but we didn't discuss it.
Prime Minister that changed your mind potentially about tariffs and what you plan to do going forward?
No.
Anything the Prime Minister said to you that changed your perspective?
No, tariffs are making us rich. We were losing a lot of money under Biden, trillions of dollars, trillions on trade. And now that whole tide has turned. We're making a lot of money. We're taking in a lot of money. Don't forget, we're taking in 25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum, 10% baseline. We put penalties on China for sending us fentanyl. We put penalties on Mexico and Canada, 25% for allowing fentanyl and allowing the borders to be weak.
Right.
No, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars while I sit here and talk to you. And we didn't take in anything before, other than the tariffs that I put on previous to Biden, which were the tariffs I put on China, where we took in, up until this point, probably $700 billion. They were Trump tariffs. He tried to weaken them. He did everything he could. You know, he got paid money by China, right? The family got paid money.
10% for the big guy.
And so I don't know, maybe that was the reason,
Probably.
or maybe it wasn't. But he tried to weaken them, but he couldn't, because there was so much money that his budgets, you know, they couldn't stand not doing it. But I took in the, up till this point, my tariffs on China. Nobody ever took in 10 cents from China. No other president took in 10 cents. I took in more than $700 billion from China. So we're doing very well. I mean, our country's doing very well. They had a bad report today from one of the healthcare companies that had an impact on the stock market. But this isn't about that. This is really, we're building a base. We're building a country like no other. And again, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country by far, history of any country probably, but the history of our country in 4 years. And I think this has a chance to be much better.
We'll see.
On Thursday, will President Zelensky be coming here for that?
I don't know exactly. I'm going to leave that to Scott. What do you think? Where would it be signed and when?
Yeah, we're still working on the details. We're shooting for around April 26th.
Is there any more details that you could tell us about what's in that deal and how it came together?
It's substantially what we agreed on previously. When the president was here, we had a memorandum of understanding. We went straight to the big deal. And I think it's an 80-page agreement, and that's what will be signed.
President Trump, on rate cuts, can you clarify on rate cuts? Do you intend to see Powell's firing if he doesn't change his stance on rate cuts? Or is that on the table? Or is that
Well, I think he should do the rate cuts, because I think if Europe has done it, it puts us at a disadvantage to Europe.
By the way, that's Scott Bessent. He's the Secretary of Treasury, the nerdy looking guy, just, you know, FYI.
I mean, he plays right into their hands. So I think he should do the rate cuts. We don't have really inflation now. I just said the major things are going down. Oil is great. Oil is way ahead of schedule. And that's because of our policies. But oil is down into the $60, $65 range now per barrel. And I told you, in certain states, we have less than $2 for gasoline. And food is down. Groceries, as we call it, are down. Other than interest rates, everything's down. Interest rates are pretty flat. It's not that they're up.
Yeah, I went to Walmart yesterday. It was packed.
If he would lower the interest rate, I think it would have a good impact.
Then again, you know, food
stamps.
food stamps is coming on the
We have
street.
very little inflation. I would say we have essentially no inflation.
still
Hard to
packed.
have inflation when oil goes down. And oil goes down. When Biden came in, oil went through the roof. That's what caused our problem. That and his very dumb spending. But when the oil prices go down, and they have gone down a lot, we've gotten it down really good. We've opened it up and we've gotten them down. And that means that people driving cars are going to be paying $2 and $2.50 instead of $4.50. And, you know, even at the end, they tried just for the purpose of the election to get it down. But they had really lost that sucker. It was not good. But if they had won, oil right now would be at $7 or $8 because of their policy. And we're going to be at about $2. Could be even a little bit less than that. And you're starting to see it. So I don't know how you can have inflation when oil has come down quite a bit. And I would say the Fed really owes it to the American people to get interest rates down. That's the only thing he's good for. And he would have an effect on that if he lowered them. And I think at some point he will. He's going to have a lot of political pressure. You know, they are political also. And I think there's a lot of political pressure for him to lower interest rates. Okay? Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Do you think that Italy can be your best ally in Europe? And also, do you ever notice when you walk into step on hands?
Only if the prime minister remains the prime minister can it be our best. she's doing a great job, and yeah, certainly one of our great allies, not just in Europe, anywhere. She's a fantastic person and doing a great job, and our relationship is great. And we have a lot of Italians in this country, I tell you, and they like Trump, and they voted for Trump. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody.
All right, so, well, that was that. But this is what popped up on my timeline this morning, through ground news. White House proposal axes UN NATO funds and halves State Department budget. A draft State Department budget calls for allocating $2 billion for America First priorities. So, well, let's hear what she has to say. All right. Tammy Bruce. Okay, she's the State Department spokeswoman. All right. Anytime.
I can tell you that throughout the history of the United States, everyone has ideas.
Man, I can barely hear it. Anyway, all right, so it says the Trump administration is mulling a proposal that would slash the State Department budget by $27 billion, nearly in half, and shutter small embassies and consulates across the globe. I was like, that doesn't say consultations. Consulates across the globe. The proposal calls for the elimination of funding for more than 20 international organizations, including the United Nations, NATO, and the Organization of American States. A diplomatic source in possession of the document told Fox News Digital. The U.S. contributed around $13 billion to the United Nations in 2023 and around $3.5 billion to NATO. The proposed budget calls for allocating $2 billion for America First priorities. Those coffers could be used for specific partners like India and Jordan, according to the document, or broader priorities like the South Pacific Tuna Treaty. However, a State Department spokesperson said Tuesday there is no final plan, final budget. The proposal is an early draft and has to pass layers of approval within the administration before it even gets to Congress. Congress can then take it as an outline, but ultimately draw up its own budget figures. The Foreign Service travel budget and benefits would be scaled back, and the Fulbright Scholarship Program would be eliminated. The document calls for a 2% reduction in diplomatic security, cuts to the Inspector General's office, and the closure of smaller embassies in countries such as the Maldives, Malta, Luxembourg, and the Central African Republic. Matter of fact, Maldives, they just, yesterday decided, they said no Jews allowed. Ain't that funny? It also proposes a 54% cut to global public health funding, with carve-outs for malaria, HIV, and tuberculosis, and the complete elimination of international peacekeeping funds. Yeah, more slush fund stuff. When asked about the budget plan during a State Department briefing, spokesperson Tammy Bruce said, throughout the history of the United States, everyone has a budget plan and everyone has ideas for budgets. And every president has a budget plan and sends it to Congress. And then Congress either accepts it or they have their own ideas, which happens more often than not. There is no final plan, final budget, she emphasized. The Trump administration has moved quickly to dismantle foreign aid, eliminating nearly 90% of U.S. aid projects and merging the agency with the State Department and defunding soft power institutions like Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia, and Middle East broadcasting networks. The White House budget is set to be transferred to Congress next month before the Republican-led House and Senate get to work on passing appropriations bills for each agency of government. Meanwhile, agencies are expected to present their own plans for reorganization to the White House this week, outlining what cuts they believe are necessary to further shrink the federal government. The State Department has not yet publicly detailed its plans for downsizing. As reports of the cuts emerged, Democrats warned that U.S. adversaries would fill the vacuum left by America around the world. The cuts would leave our country alone and exposed and allow China and Russia to fill the vacuum made vacant by this administration, according to Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a Democrat out of New Hampshire, of course, top Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee. Why in the world will we cut funding for NATO at a moment when war is raging in Europe and security threats on the continent grow? She added. Because, I'll answer that. Because Europe is ravaging itself from within by electing Muslims into government who are now giving free passes to their brethren to rape and murder women. Their government, you now in Europe, if you say anything negative about Muslims or Palestine, they throw you in jail for years. So, and when J.D. Vance, Mr. President, does she swallow as unsunken one on behalf of Common Sense Global? What's up, Red? Malta doesn't even have a military. I know. But when J.D. Vance was over in Munich, he told them flat out, you guys need to change your policies, the way you govern, or we're, in so many words, we're going to pull our funding. And you'll be left to hold your own nuts. And they didn't want to listen. Remember the leader of Germany is like, how dare he tell us what to do? Like, okay. So that's why you cut the funding for NATO. If you cut the funding for NATO, I guarantee you these other countries like Europe, France, the UK, these Eastern and Western European countries who are letting themselves be overrun by Muslims and Africans, I guarantee you they'll switch up because they need that money. They need that protection. They don't have enough to protect themselves. And it's going to be like, well, if you want us to protect you, you need to pay us. We're no longer going to send you money and pay to protect you. You're going to pay us to protect you. That's the new deal now. So it is not clear whether Secretary of State Marco Rubio endorses the initial proposal. I want to hear from Secretary Rubio directly, said Senator Brian Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, top Democrat on the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee that handles state funding, calling the reports deeply troubling. And of course, you have the peanut gallery here. I 100% agree with the budget. It focused on countries that provide a benefit to the U.S. rather than blanket the world with money receiving no return on that investment. Yeah, the State Department has 80,000 employees that worked against Trump's foreign policy in his first term. I can't believe Rubio hasn't cleaned house already. Give him time. The only thing that should be deeply troubling is our debt of $36 trillion, and how are we going to pay for it? We need to cut the whole government by more than half. Well, he said, you can thank both sides of Congress for the mess we are in. They're the ones, all of them, Democrats and Republicans, who have approved of unlimited spending over the years. Yeah, everyone is that the same person? No, that's somebody different. Everyone is ignoring the basic fact. We cannot afford to keep doing everything we are doing. Our budget was $1.8 billion in the red. Many useful things are simply not affordable. New priorities must dictate new policies. And he said trillion, 1.8 billion is pittance. Yeah, he right, 1.8 trillion, whatever. Let's see. We should get the U.S. out of the UN and the UN out of the U.S. It will become the basis for the one world government run by geopolitical enemies. In other words, more of the same, but we won't be hosting or paying for it. Reminder, blue helmets on U.S. soil indicate targets of opportunity. And then this guy said, keep the UN as an organization, give them the budget to meet twice a year and then abandon Walmart in New York City and feed them pizza. If they really want to work on world peace, no more budget then that is needed. Let's see. As for the State Department, geez, just get rid of the travel and the entertainment budget. That should cut it in half. You know, so I mean, you can see where people are leaning when it comes to this. Oh, there you go, Jibba. You say, I personally think Rubio isn't capable. Well, we'll see. So before we call it a day, people were talking about, they were mainly talking about the black kid that stabbed the white kid. I really don't care, that Carmelo Anthony situation. I really don't care. Like, I mean, his parents are out here, they're buying Escalades with the money and the new house, and then they got some loser sitting up here, you know, trying to blame everybody except for Carmelo Anthony for what he did. You know, it's you know what? All I can say about that is we will let the courts decide. We'll let the courts decide, and then we will call it a day. All right, we'll call it a day. It's out of our hands. I mean, whether he gets convicted or not, it won't affect you know, my day to day. The only people that'll be affected by it is his family and the white guy's family that he killed. That's it. And the one thing that this white guy, the father, he learned something that I have been saying for over 10 years when it comes to, when it comes to forgiving people who murder your family members, especially the same day or the next day when they do it. Your forgiveness is rejected. Why are you forgiving somebody that's not even that didn't even ask for your forgiveness? They don't feel that what they've done deserves forgiveness because they feel that they murdered your family member justly, even though it was an unjust killing. Then you have people, especially black people, bringing up Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, hey, I 100% agree that Kyle Rittenhouse, if not him, his mother and father should have went to prison. Here was a 17-year-old kid who was allowed to go across state lines without parental supervision with a military-grade rifle. He shot one person that threw a plastic bag at him, shot him in the back, and then when people were chasing him down trying to stop him, he shot and killed them too. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't kill him, but he shot them too. Blew one guy's arm off. You know, one guy, I mean, he permanently disabled the 3 people that tried to stop him before the police were finally able to get up on him. And my thing is this. Number one, I mean, to go back in time, none of those people were black. So it was what it was. You know, one of the guys he capped was a child molester. You know, another one had a criminal record, you know, typical white Democrats. So he popped holes in them for trying to attack him, trying to, you know, citizens arrest or whatever. So he got off, but his mother, he should have been in prison for carrying a military style weapon without a license, whether he had one or not. I don't understand the gun laws that was going on back then, but his parents, his mother most especially, should have went to prison for allowing a minor to go across state lines with a military grade weapon. What are you doing? What type of parenting is this? But if that's the laws that they were running in Wisconsin and Minnesota or whatever, I mean, then I can't talk about it. There's nothing I can really say. But somebody should have went to jail for the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. But this kid right here, he's definitely going to jail. I don't care how much his parents and some goofy lawyer or whatever try to get up and try to make all type of excuses for him, talking about some, oh, it was the school because it was raining. They should have canceled the event, or, you know, they should have had a security guard at the tents. All this goofy stuff that dude was saying, I care not for what he was saying. The whole bottom line is that Carmelo Anthony brought a knife. He's being tried as a minor. Yeah, but where is they? Where this happened in Texas? He brought a knife to a school function. He was told to move. All right. His life was not in danger. When he was told to move, he pulled the knife out of his bag, dared the guy to put his hands on him. So when they grabbed him, he wasn't punched. There was no physical altercation as far as that's a hard road to plow in Texas. It wasn't, they didn't jump him or anything. They've never met any before. This was their first interaction. But because he didn't want to get up and move, and the guy grabbed him, he stabbed him in the chest and then had the nerve to run, throw the weapon, trying to escape. They caught up to him, and then he admitted that he did it. And now they're trying to say self-defense. Sorry, self-defense does not work here. This is premeditated murder. He did what he had to do. They jumped him. They didn't jump him. Because where was the bruises? When he was arrested, there were no bruises on him. He wasn't punched up. Then the father sat up here calling himself trying to forgive him. And then today, when they had the press conference, they kicked the father out. The white father, they kicked him out. Some of his presence made them feel uncomfortable. His presence makes you feel uncomfortable. Really? Meanwhile, his family is out here selling t-shirts and merchandise and everything. They're capitalizing off of their son being a murderer. And if you look into that kid's eyes, his eyes look more dead than Letitia James's. He looks like his eyes, if you look into his eyes, he looks the type. He looks like the type, and he is the type because he actually did it. He packed the knife. Soon as somebody said something to him, he pulled the knife. He was itching to do it. He was itching to do it. And as crass as what's up, Snow? And as crass as Charleston White was in his affirmation of the whole situation, he did not lie. You got a kid with an underdeveloped brain who listens to a lot of black cultural music, which is nothing but murder, death, kill, murder, death, kill, murder, death, kill. And so he took it upon himself to execute a murder, death, kill. Yeah, you want to get him off. Well, I mean, get the lotion. The knife was for his lunch. So dude is cooked. Dude is cooked. There's nothing he can say or do. He is cooked. He is cooked. Matter of fact, here we go. I'll let Ruin Leon do the talking. Let's see. How long is this? That's an hour. No, that's too long. Let's see here. Here we go.
Carmelo Anthony's mother and representatives have just finished a press conference, and I'm going to be brutally honest. If you are somebody
here, let me post this channel. Like I said, I like this guy. I like this guy. His content is very, very refreshing. He has a very refreshing take on things. But let's go.
Who is in the camp of Carmelo Anthony is innocent and he needs to be set free, and this is all just a bunch of racist, evil people trying to crowd a black boy. You have to understand that press conference was an embarrassment and did Carmelo no favors. From having the dad show up there of Austin Metcalf, I guess, to want to hear what they have to say in living color, getting asked to leave, and then him still being there and then ultimately leaving anyway, because I guess he just didn't want to cause any further chaos than what's already going to have to go on.
Yeah, I wouldn't address the media at all.
The father being at this press conference. These are my words. Don't quote anybody. Is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
to the guy who's speaking on behalf of the family, sitting there and blaming the school for not immediately canceling the track meet because of the rain, even though, with that being said, they were still going to be under that tent in the rain because they were still out there in the public. And I don't know if people were just waiting to see if the rain would pass or if the rain was going to get harder, and then they'd make that decision. It would be on that interest to then cancel it. But again, they'd still be in the rain, and you'd probably still have this interaction between Carmelo and Austin.
But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation.
Well, yeah, he murdered somebody.
That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame.
To
And
who?
what I have
To
not
the
heard
murderer?
the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on. I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Because
can you believe this dude is actually trying to blame the weather and the school? You know, like you can have a school event and then it can be cloudy. And then suddenly you get a quick rain shower that might last for like 30 to 45 minutes. I mean, they do this in baseball all the time. And plus it's Texas. You let the sun come out. Like, I mean, I'm here in Atlanta. I'm not even further south, but here in Atlanta, it'll rain. It'll rain for like maybe 30, 45 minutes to an hour. You know, I mean, everything is just drenched. And then less than an hour later, the streets and everything doesn't even look like you had rain. Only the grass. If you walk through the grass, yeah, you'll see it. But everything else, you'll get about maybe 20, 30 minutes of steam, and then it's gone. Like, what are you talking about, bro? It's Texas. It's hot in Texas. Anyway.
As a person who is the administrator of...
Yeah, I was looking for that video. I cannot find it.
You are responsible for the safety of the children. And so it seems as if Frisco ISD is trying to push this off by making this decision that they do not have to make. So the Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process, will be going through different avenues regarding to ensure that we fight for the rights of Carmelo Anthony.
To this dude having a beef with somebody on Twitter because the person on Twitter is airing out his dirty laundry.
Sarah Fields. Never heard of this woman.
Yeah, come to find out, this dude,
this is the kind
he got a criminal record. The guy speaking.
That led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family with hate. Carmelo Anthony posted on something that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies that are threatening this family. Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies. She's getting millions of views.
Say Willie Tyler and Lester. Yeah. This is some BS. Yeah, that's all he's doing.
She even came after me.
He's talking about everything except
She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on.
Yeah, we know what's going on.
Because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy. He should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had. Daniel Pena, and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
Okay.
We got
And?
that. And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody said anything.
Actually, people said a lot.
So since they tried to come for
Both
us,
black and white, people said a lot.
I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family.
It was not really something you would watch in full capacity and think to yourself, this is what was needed for helping Carmelo Anthony. This was needed so that we could get back to what is really important, the facts of the matter. For some reason, Trump got brought up. There's also conversation from the representatives about how they're going to go after the Frisco school district for expelling Carmelo, because if you're somebody who has a student who ends up stabbing somebody and they get national coverage, you would tend to not want to have them affiliated with one of your schools, so you would cut bait there. But I guess that's a problem, so they're going to address that at a different time. We still don't have a trial date set for any of this, so any important details about whether guilty or not guilty, that's going to have to come either weeks or months down the line. But I look at this press conference as a disappointment, because it should have been and could have been something where you just lay all the facts of the matter out and just cut through all the bullshit. Because if you comb through social media, you will find a lot of bullshit about GPAs, about cars, about houses, about everything under the sun, from fanatical police reports to, of course, as we've discussed, fake autopsies. And it's this fanatical fan fiction going around where nobody's really focusing on the truth of the matter. And we're just sticking to things that would make either a bunch of people further their conversation about him being guilty or further the conversation about him being innocent. And we're not really getting towards the truth. And this press conference was a fucking embarrassment. I feel bad that a bunch of people are getting their addresses leaked and they're being harassed because they're either tied to Carmelo Anthony by blood or they're the judge that reduced the bond, but people are not really consistent on how they feel about bonds being reduced in any capacity, and they are having to be harassed, and addresses are being broadcasted on social media, and people are running around thinking, haha, this is great karma. The FBI is investigating motherfuckers doing that, because why the fuck do you feel so comfortable broadcasting somebody's address online as if that's a smart thing to do? It's just, this was embarrassing. This was not something that was going to create a sense of peace or normality in a conversation of whether somebody used self-defense or not. And when he sat up there and tried to do the same thing the dad did, which was get everyone to focus on the truth, it was going to be a bombastic fucking failure, because that statement came after everything I already listed off. That should have been the first thing out of his mouth. We want to sit here and spend our time talking about what is true and go over each detail that has been brought up, broadcasted on social media, and everything that is fake and everything that is true. But no, we played the blame game first and then went to, yeah, we need to focus.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll do a stock stream. I want to see what's going on with these tariffs first. But this Sunday, we got a party, my friend, he's throwing a party at his house. So we got a party. We got a party. Period. We got a party. Sundays are usually my days off, but I'm partying. So we'll see. I got to bring the slushy machine, make some slushies. I'm going to make the kids slushies. But yeah, this Sunday, I'm busy. I'm sorry. I'm busy. Let's like last Sunday. Last Sunday, it was a video game, WrestleMania party. We're playing the video games with the wrestling and everything. I'm enjoying my weekends. I'm having some me times. Anyway.
Focus on actually not spreading any misinformation or not talking about this in any bombastic matter. Because as I said on the stream, when have you ever noticed that when someone gets on the internet and wags their finger and says, no, all of the internet just complies? If I were to comb social media right now, immediately after this press conference, I would see people continuing to talk about this in the manner that they were talking about it before this press conference, but it's going to be amplified times 10 because they already don't like the dude who is representing these people in terms of getting word out on how they feel or what it is that their next step is. So they're going to be mad at that and also continue talking about you and how you're not really the best person to be around babies. And that was something I didn't know about when I gave him praise for being the only one with balls to go towards the police and ask some questions. So that's a little bit of my bad on my part. Maybe next time I'll focus more on everybody's backgrounds in the future. But all in all, as we end this and we wrap this video up, I need everybody to understand, whether if you're for Carmelo or against Carmelo, you're not gonna like my next statement because it's the boring statement. You're gonna have to wait. I understand the sensationalism of seeing something on social media and looking at that and saying, yep, that proves he's innocent, or that proves he's guilty. But this is all going to get brought up in court. There's going to be witnesses who try their best to recant the story. There's a video that has been confirmed and is in the hands of the Frisco police, which I really hope, and I know I probably shouldn't say this because nobody's going to agree. I hope it doesn't get leaked, because when it does, yeah, because I know it will, even though I'm sitting here saying that I hope it doesn't, I have a feeling that it will anyway. The conversation is going to be muddy because people are not going to focus on the full video. They're going to focus on bits and pieces and run with the narrative around that. It will be something that will be discussed in court. And based on all the evidence that is fact, not our made up fan fictions, we will either get a plea deal, guilty, or not guilty. And that's the only three options we really got. And when one of these things happens, there's going to be people celebrating as if they won the lottery, and there's going to be people crying that their fan fiction wasn't true. And at the end of it all, I'ma still feel bad for that dad, because that dad got on the news and just didn't want this to become a big racial or political issue, not really understanding how the rest of the world was going to see this. And the rest of the world said, fuck you, buddy. We're going to have fun with this till the wheels fall off. But let me know what you think about the press conference in the comments below. Did you think it helped? Did you think it ultimately made things worse for Carmelo? I'd love to hear what all of you have to say in the comments down below. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Subscribe. Goodbye.
So hold on, I'm trying to bring this video up.
You know, a lot of people think that I'm desperate for attention, even though I haven't talked to you or anything.
You are desperate for attention. You're a loser. Anyway, let me bring this up. Okay, I got it. Hold on. The sad part about all of this, the sad part about all this is what his family and other people are doing, which, let's see here. And boop, come on. There we go.
Tweet ain't tapping in. Anybody who fuck with me, fuck with my music, you gotta fuck with Carmelo Anthony, man. Justice for my dog. Website coming soon. You gotta tap in, man. Yeah.
You know, you got people making money off of him. You got his family members making money off of him. This dead-eyed murderer. You know. Like, yeah, that's just terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. You selling t-shirts and whatnot. You wearing the t-shirt. You pretty much giving him a pass for what he's done and not understanding the severity of what he's done. You not understand the severity of what you did. You not understand the severity of what you did, bro. Somebody's dead. You think you gonna walk away from that? Yeah, if you say so. He said, my grandmother was a domestic engineer, aka maid for Dusty Rhodes and Gordon Soley. My uncle wrestled with the Funk Brothers in high school, and I used to be in Gordon Soley's house all the time. Is that the dad's gray pants and vest? Damn, it looks like it. It looks like it. Like they was wearing, like they wearing the same suit. Because that suit looks so big on him. Look how he holding his stomach in. But, you know, that's all really I got to say on the whole case. We're going to let it play out and see what happened. But I'm telling you right now, he is not walking away clean. I don't care how much black folks want to, you know, try to racism this or racism that. Like, that don't fly. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
What do you have? Go ahead. No, that's enough. Go ahead.
But that wasn't my question.
The problem is you don't write the truth. So, as far as I'm concerned, I want to go to the next
Can
one.
I ask you a question about
No, not CNN, please. Go ahead.
The White House has not been on the tweet
I told you. CNN is fake news. Don't talk to me. Go ahead, please.
But he says he was retaliated against, and that's why he was removed from his job. Do you have a response to that?
Okay, next question.
Mr. President, I have...
Because Trump bad. Trump bad. All right, bye. Thanks for the fun.